I know my chance with her is blown, but my mouth gets carried away. I'm tongue-tied, 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 tongue-tied. I get tongue-tied.
The third type of woman that you need to avoid dating at all costs are women who are separated from their husbands or who have recently divorced. If they're recently divorced, if they're recently separated, they have not had enough time to actually really sit down with themselves and see if this is the choice that they actually want to make. And also, they haven't had time to really kind of like reflect on where the relationship went wrong, where the guy that they're with was doing bad things and where they did wrong. But more importantly, what parts of the relationship could they have done better? Because I find oftentimes women are very, very bad at self-reflection. Like it's assumed, because we're seen as the leaders of the relationship, it is assumed that if the relationship goes bad, it's automatically our fault. So a lot of women are bad at being able to reflect and say, well, I did this wrong. I could have showed up here better. Maybe I shouldn't have done this thing. More often than not, you're going to hear like, oh, that guy was just a jerk and he didn't listen to me and he didn't pay attention and blah, 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 all that other stuff. Okay. But the point is, there's not enough time there for her to have actually assessed and reconnected with herself and gotten to a place where she has a healthier look on dating, you know? And so I say, if you're going to date like a divorced woman or a separated woman, have it at least have it her say, it's been a year since I've been in that situation. That way she's had ideally time to go to a therapist, psychologist, go through counseling, have time to herself to really connect with what she really feels she did wrong in the relationship so she can get to a better place to be good for that next person that comes along. But if they're recently separated, you are going to be dealing with somebody who's going to be running hot and cold. It'll go from, I'm showing him a lot of attention to, oh, but my marriage, and oh, this sucks, blah, blah, blah. And then on top of, especially if she's just separated and she's legitimately going through a divorce, she's going to be going to court. She's going to be dealing with paperwork. She's going to be still having to meet up with her ex for a variety of things, whether it's, splitting property if they have property, or dealing with the kids if they have kids, or, trying to iron out the details of whatever, alimony payments are going to be. So the ex is going to still be in her life for at least that first year while she's trying to get divorced and separated. And guess what, guy? That means that there's going to be times where she's going to be reflecting back on that marriage. There's going to be hard days she has where she's just crying her eyes out, or she suddenly, the ex said something to her in a text about their court case, and now she's all bothered, and you're trying to take her out that night on a date, and she's now crying her eyes out because of what the ex said, and now you can't take her out because she's crying, and it's ruined your entire night. And I know there are guys that can deal with that. Like, hey, you can be like, I'm going to be there for her. And even if she's going through with something else with this guy, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you guys, you don't need to make your life harder by dating these types of women, because you're dating a woman that is separated or divorced, but there are plenty of actually single, have no kids, just looking for a good guy but haven't found it yet, women out there, enough of them to not have to go for this type of woman or some of the other ones that I've talked about up to this point. All right. So she's recently separated or divorced. If you find her, she's just the most hottest thing you've ever seen, and you think based on one or two dates you have a good rapport, you'd be wiser to say, hey, I think we have a great rapport, but you know what? You told me the thing about being separated or divorced, and I just really think that, I would want to date you, but I think that until that is situated or handled, that you could go around, either we just be friends for now, or you could say, you know what, hit me up in a year. Once that's all, ironed out, if you're still feeling me and I'm still feeling you, and we're still both, available, then we can take a crack at it. But there's just too much punishment that comes from dating women that are just separated or recently divorced, where I got to say, it's not worth it.
Thanks for listening to the Introvert Dating Success Podcast. Visit us at introvertdatingsuccess.com for more great tips on attracting women using your natural introvert charm.